I want to go to our next solution, which is Amazon Connect Talent. Now, this solution is focused on the area of high volume hiring, which we'll spend more time on. But start with, what experience does Amazon have to bring to this domain?
Yeah, again, inspired by our stores business, we hire about 250,000 people in the US for part-time and full-time roles every peak. And this is what we mean when we say high volume hiring, where organizations, companies need to scale up rapidly. And every unfilled role is a challenge. It costs the business, it costs demand and momentum, revenue, and customer experience. And so these are expensive negative consequences of this. And so you can see this play out in the retail industry, hospitality, entertainment, customer support, logistics, these types of areas. And for us internally, Amazon, we outgrew our off-the-shelf solutions, and it sort of led to a multi-year effort to build the products and also the science that we needed to do a better job of matching the peaks of our business with actually hiring good quality people. And so part of that was sort of improving the candidate experience. That can be challenging, so we really spent a lot of time there, decreasing the hiring cycle times and increasing sort of recruiter capacity. And so, one of the things that we did in this, we developed the AI to really help with the translation of from a job description to the skills required for the role, from the skills to an interview, and we're sort of using that at the heart of Connect Talent.
It's 250,000 people hired. That's a lot. But I want to start with the hiring manager experience. So how did you think about that?
Yeah, so I think we really were looking at, well, how do you get the recruiter particularly into spending their time thinking about what is the demands of the business? How do I think about the skills that I need to acquire here? And then focusing on where can I get those skills and who are the right candidates that actually fit that profile? And so we've got the AI doing that work of the translation, job description to skills, skills to interview format. And of course, the recruiter stays in control. They're able to edit, adjust, interject, reframe at any time. But here, you have the AI doing a lot of that legwork, and then again moving in actually to the interviewing. And so a constraint in high volume hiring is often having interviewers, is scheduling time. It's that sort of takes a lot of lead time, a lot of logistics, and we can put AI to work that. And the Gentic teammate here is taking care of the interviewing.
All right, we'll have Olivia come back and show it in a moment, but I want to go then from the hiring experience to the candidate experience, and kind of what was your mental model around creating that?
Yeah. Where we really focused is how do we give candidates more flexibility and make that easier for them to go after new opportunities, where they don't have to take time off from their current role. You don't have to take time off from your current work to get your new work. You don't have to trade off with your other responsibilities in life. Life is busy. You don't have to cram it into lunch. You can do it at a time that works for you. The other part is actually creating a consistent interview experience focused on skills and an ability for a candidate to share their experience and their capabilities in that interview in an effective way, and really not other factors, and really getting to the core of the skills that someone brings to the table.
Got it. All right. Well, Olivia, why don't you show us what it looks like?
Thank you. I'm a recruiter for a large retailer, and I'm hiring for seasonal retail sales associates at multiple locations. The job description is what you would expect. Responsibilities, qualifications, what we offer. It's pretty standard. I've loaded the job into Talent, so let's see how we get started. The science behind the application is impressive. We've directed agents to review the job description, identify competencies, create interview questions, and build an assessment rubric for this role. Talent has completed a review and generated a full plan. I can inspect every part, making changes and tweaks to ensure it fits my needs. Now that we've got this set up, I can get it posted and start interviewing. Talent lets candidates interview on their own timeline in their own environment. No scheduling bottlenecks, no pressure to perform in a narrow window. Candidates get a consistent experience regardless of when or where they interview. And because there's no scheduling friction, we're not losing great candidates who can't make a Tuesday at 2 p.m. So let's see what the candidate experience looks like.
Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be conducting a phone screen interview for the Seasonal Retail Sales Associate position. Let me start with my first question. Tell me about a time when you helped a customer who had difficulty explaining what they were looking for. How did you figure out what they needed?
Sure. Yeah, there was a time when a customer came in looking for a gift, but they really had no idea what they wanted to get. They seemed pretty overwhelmed, so I actually helped them find the right gift.
That's helpful. Sounds like you took the time to work through it with them. Can you walk me through what you actually did to figure out what gift would work for them?
Yeah, I started by asking a few simple questions like,
So what used to take weeks of phone screens can now be done in days. And every single interview was structured, consistent, and aligned to the evaluation plan. I'm not spending my time on logistics anymore. I'm spending it on the decision that actually matters: who to hire. So it's been a couple of days, and interviews are done. We've completed 80 interviews in days versus what would have taken me weeks previously. Let's assess the candidates. Amazon Connect Talent has assessed each candidate against the evaluation plan we created earlier. It gives me standardized data that I can use to make a decision. It's prepped the data for me, but it's not deciding who to hire. That's up to me. Talent anonymizes candidates, helping to reduce human preconceptions that come with seeing candidate demographics and personally identifiable information. For this first candidate, I can see how they performed against the competencies we defined, their top strengths and growth areas. I'm evaluating them based on job-related performance and not gut feel or personal affinity. I can also get a detailed view by going right into the interview transcripts to see how talent arrived at its scoring and where the gaps were. In the end, the decision is mine, one I can now make with standardized data. Talent takes Amazon's decades of hiring expertise and puts it to work for every company. It removes the toil and gives back to recruiters and candidates what matters most: time, consistency, and the confidence that a qualified candidate got the job.
Thanks, Olivia.